Yes, so good morning, students. Very good morning to you all. Just wait for a few minutes, let all the participants come. Yeah, good morning. Good morning to you all. Last class, I think we were doing structure of an atom, and then I explained to you how to find out the structure of the electronic configuration of elements. Yeah, we looked at hydrogen, helium, lithium, beryllium, and so on. I'm not sure if we have all completed it. So let us go there and let us see if we can rewrite that again. So we said hydrogen has one electron. So in the K shell, it will have one electron. So you have the K, L, M, N, and so on. So helium has two. So two will come here. Lithium has three. In the K shell, maximum there can be two. So two are filled. So it becomes 2, 1. Beryllium has 4, so it will become 2, 2. Boron has 5, so it will become 2, 3. Carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. So this is 6, so it will become 2, 4. This is 7, so it will become 2, 5. Oxygen is 8, so it will become 2, 6. Fluorine is 9, so it is 2, 7. After fluorine, you have neon. So I hope you guys remember we did this last time. And I explained to you how the electrons enter the, yes, that's what I'm saying. We finished already. We finished all this already, right? I hope all of us remember that. Then did I give you any homework? I told you to, I might have told you. Yeah, I might have told you. So let us look at a few elements. Suppose I want to write it for calcium. Calcium has like 20 electrons. So K shell, L shell, M shell, N shell. So in the K shell, 2 will come, 8 will come. Then here maximum is 2, maximum is 8, maximum is 18, 2, 8, 18. Here maximum is 32. So calcium has 20, 2, 8, so 10 can come here. But what Bohr said is that the outermost shell can never have more than 8 electrons. So it becomes 2, 8, 8, and then 2. So this becomes the electronic configuration for calcium. Yeah. Now these outermost shell electrons, yeah, the outermost shell electrons are called the valency electrons. The outermost shell electrons are called the valency electrons. Yeah, so I hope you all remember. Voice is getting stuck only for one person or for all of you? Today there is no power around my house from morning. There is no power, so I am working on mobile data. So, but it is quite strong is what I am told. So if everybody is having a problem, I'll do something. Yes, Lakshan, sir, even for me, even for me. Okay, even now it is breaking. Is it better? Fine, fine. Okay, okay. So now it is okay. Fine, fine, fine. Okay. So Dominic, is it bad or is it okay? Now break. Himanshu, now it should be okay. Okay. So now tell me, I hope we remember this. Did we fill up all these things? I would have told you for elements up to atomic number 20, I would have given you as homework. Okay. Okay. So what I am trying to tell you to do is I am trying to tell you to write the electronic configuration. Write the electronic configuration of elements from atomic number 20 to 40. Okay. We have written in the class up to 20. I am talking about from 20 to 40. And still some people are saying that I am not able to understand. Okay, so just give me 2 minutes. I will sort out everything and then I will come back. Yeah, already written in class up to 40 we have written. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, okay, I will sort out everything. Just give me 1 minute. Huh? Yeah, you can't hear me. Now it should be better, but just give me a minute. Yes, it's clear and audible for me. Yeah. Okay. Now it should be better for everyone. Hmm. So I'll teach you how to write this electronic configuration for elements from 20 to 40. I know we have done it. Don't worry about it. We will do it again so that we learn it perfectly. Okay. So we write the name of the element and then we start working from there. So after atomic number 20, so we will start from 20 and I will explain to you again. So what Bohr said is, Bohr said that there are different shells. So there is a K shell, there is a L shell, there is a M shell, there is a N shell, and so on. Yeah, those of us who don't understand, please make notes. Then in each shell, the maximum number of electrons is 2n squared. Yeah. So if the maximum number of electrons is 2n squared, in the K shell, you can have 2 electrons maximum. L shell, you can have 2 into 4, 8 electrons. M shell, the maximum becomes 2 into 9, that is 18. Then you have 32 and so on. Okay, these are the maximum number. So now suppose you look at calcium. If you look at calcium, calcium has atomic number 20. Yeah, atomic number indicates the number of electrons, okay, in the atom. So calcium has 20 electrons. So energies, so the electrons get filled. So here there will be 2, here there will be 8, here 18 is maximum, 10 can come. Okay, but Bohr said a concept that the maximum number of electrons in outermost shell is maximum 8. So now here 10 have come, so 10 cannot come. Okay, so what will happen? So that 10 is 8. Okay, so this 10 will become 8 and then 2 will come here. So now our rule is okay and we are fine with it. The next one is scandium. Scandium has atomic number 21. Next you have titanium, atomic number 22. Then you have vanadium, 23. Then you have chromium, 24. Then you have manganese, 25. So in scandium, what will happen is 2 will come here, 8 will come here, then 8 will come here, and then 3 will come here. Okay. Then in titanium again, you will have 2 here, 8 here, 8 here, and then 4 here. Then you have vanadium, 2 here, 8 here, 8 here, and then it can become 5 here. Okay. Then chromium, 2, 8, 8, 6. Then manganese, 2, 8, 8, 7. And it will keep going on this way. Okay, so but there is a small change here that I will explain. First, you understand this. So this is what is the ideal structure. This is the way it should be ideally. Okay. Yeah, so if you understand this, Now there are some deviations. Some deviations are there here. So the deviations are starting from this scandium. So now you see, once this 2882 happens, now this is not the ultimate shell. Now this is the penultimate shell. So in the penultimate shell, the maximum number of electrons can be 18. So instead of the electron coming here, now after this, the electron starts coming here. So for scandium, what actually happens is that it continues to be 2 there, it continues to be 2 here, and this 8 will become 9. So this will also remain 2, this titanium 9 will become 10. This remains 2, this will 10 will become 11. This remains 2, this will become 12. This remains, manganese remains 2 here, it becomes 13. Okay, so that's the way it happens for all these elements. So please make a note of that. Bohr said that the number of electrons in the outermost shell, 1 minute. Bohr said that the maximum number of electrons in any shell is given by 2n square. Okay, then the maximum number in outermost shell is 8. The maximum number in penultimate means one before last, penultimate is 18. Okay, so there are many exceptions, not some, there are many exceptions. For certain elements it comes perfectly, but for many elements it doesn't come perfectly. That is why Bohr's model was not accepted. Say for example, for germanium, Ge has atomic number 32. So KLMN. So here 2 will come, here 8 will come. Then 2, 8, 10 is over. So now 22. So here 18 will come. So 2, 8, 18. So 2, 8, 18 means 28. Then here 4 will come. Okay, so for these elements it will come perfectly. But for certain other elements like iron is what? 26. So iron is 26. So here 2 will come, here 8 will come. 2 plus 8 is 10. Now 16 are there. The maximum number here is 18. So I can put 16, but it doesn't come. Then outermost shell will have 16 electrons, not possible. Instead, what happens is 2 electrons come here. Now this becomes the last but one shell, and then you will have 14 electrons here. So for iron, it is 2, 8, 8, 14, and then 2. So after iron, the next one is cobalt. So cobalt is 27. So 27, it will become 2, 8, 15, and then 2. Okay, so this is what it is. So these are exceptions, but we don't have to remember this. In your ninth standard, 8th standard, what you have learned so far is more than enough. Just that we need to apply to them. They won't ask you for these kinds of elements. They will ask you for chlorine kind of elements. Chlorine, the next one, let's say bromine. So bromine has atomic number 35. Yeah? So please write the electronic configuration for bromine, which has 35 electrons. So now we can fill it up for bromine. It will come correctly for us. I'll give you a chance. Please fill it up. Meanwhile, I'll see if there are many questions or any questions. Yeah, I will show. In this week, this lesson had completed, sir. In this week, this lesson had completed. I know, don't worry. I'm going to the next chapter. It will take us some time, but we will go how the numbers in N shell came. N Y2 came in. Then how many do you want to put? I'm not able to understand your question, Saksham. Suvantika Shri, I don't understand your question also. Okay, let me explain. Let me do that. First, you write a note, make a note of this. The maximum number of electrons in any shell is given by 2n squared. The maximum number of electrons in outermost shell is 8. The maximum number of electrons in penultimate is last but one. In penultimate is 18. First you make a note of this. We are going to the next chapter. Please contribute, collaborate. We will be going. We are moving to the next chapter. Okay. Now I am writing the electronic configuration for germanium. Germanium has 32 electrons. So in the K shell, maximum is 2. So I put 2. L shell, maximum is 8. So I put 8. M shell, maximum is 18. So I put 18. Now how many are left? 4 are left. So I have to put 4 there. That is how the number of electrons in each shell are going to come. Shells are always filled this way. Okay. Now in iron, it becomes 2 here, 8 here. Okay. Now total left is 16. I can put 16 here. But if I put 16 here, I am violating Bohr's rule that the maximum number of electrons in the outermost shell is 8. Okay. So what happens is I can't put 16 here. There is going to be the next shell. So what is seen? So this is now the exceptions are starting. So what is seen is here 2 come, and now this is not the last shell. This is the last but one shell. So in the penultimate shell, the maximum number of electrons is 18. So this is less than 18. So it is perfect. Cobalt, perfect. Now for bromium, I will fill it up. So you have here you have 2. Then here you have 8. Then here you have 18. So 2, 8, 18. So how many? This is 10, 28. So this is 7. So 2, 8, 18, 7. Yeah. So after bromine, the next one is krypton. So krypton is 36. So 2, 8, 18, 8. So krypton is also full. Now potassium. Potassium is, not potassium. After krypton, you have rubidium, RB, rubidium. So rubidium is 37. So it will become 2, 8, 18, 8, and 1. Okay. So 2, 8, 8, 18, 8, and 1. I hope this is understood. Can I see if there are any? Yes, sir. 2 to 3, what class? Your regular class, whatever it is. Sir, can't we put 1 in the outermost shell? You can put, if it what depends on how many electrons are there, no? If you have, suppose you have 10 goats and you have a goat pen or whatever they call it, will you put 1 in that, or all 10 of them you will put? You'll have to put all 10 of them. You can't just leave 5 of them outside, no? Yeah. So Amrita, I'm not able to understand your question. What do you mean by put 1? Okay. So I hope it is clear now. No, 8 is not stable in every shell. Outermost shell, 8 is stable. So for Fe, can we not write 2, 8, 15, 1 instead of 2, 8, 14, 2? I understand your question. Yeah, well, you can write it, but the way it is observed is 2, 8, 14, 2. And the logic for that you will understand when you come to the 9th standard. 9th standard, again, we have atomic structure. So there I will take you to the next level. When we go to the next level, we'll understand why it is 2, 8, 14, 2 and not 2, 8, 15, 1. A very nice question. Why can't we write 2, 8, 15, 1? Yes, we can write it, but what is observed is 2, 8, 14, 2. And the logic for that, I can't tell you now. I'll tell you when you come to the next class. Yeah. Yeah, for germanium, germanium 2, 8, 14, 8. You cannot write like that. Germanium, you want to write 2, 8, 14, 8. No, you cannot keep filling as many as you want to. In the innermost shell, maximum 18 are filled. So germanium comes after So you cannot write here 14, here 14, and then here 8. You cannot write that. You fill it up as per a given order. Okay, only there are certain exceptions. Basically, there are certain things that this is the problem with Bohr's model. That's why people didn't accept it and they went for another model. That Bohr's logic, you cannot pull correctly in all the shells and then fill it up. Only for certain elements you can fill it up. Okay. So for rubidium has atomic number 37. So here you have 2, 8, 18. So 2, 8, 18, 8. So 10, 28, 36, and then 1. Now if 9 come here, then it won't fill. Then after rubidium you have strontium. Strontium is 38. So now again 2, 8, 18, 8, and 2. Now after strontium, again the same problem that I was telling you is going to happen. So after strontium, for yttrium, which is 39, you will get here 2, 8, 18, 9, and 2. Okay, so it is 2, 8, 18, 9, and 2. This also I can't say it just like that. There are other rules which have to be followed, which were not told by Bohr. So for these kind of electrons, these kind of elements, Bohr's structure doesn't work well. But again, for tin which is 50, it works beautifully. For tin which is atomic number 50, now it will work. 2, 8, 18. Then how many are there? 28 are over. So again 18. So 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, and then now 4. Now it will work beautifully. So 10, 28, 28 plus 4, 32, 32 plus 18, 15. So this is the electronic configuration for tin. Okay, 2, 8, 18, 18, 4. So Bohr's atomic configuration works for some, doesn't work for some. That is why Bohr's electronic configuration was rejected. So that is why I tell you 1 to 20. 1 to 20 it works. After 20 the problems start. That is why we don't apply Bohr's concepts to elements after 20. We have another logic which we will learn when we go to the higher classes. Okay. So if this is understood, let me move on. Yes, Bohr's model has too many exceptions, so it doesn't work. Okay, so if you understand this, then let's move on. Now, what I am seeing is, suppose I have this lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, neon. After fluorine, neon, then I have sodium, then I have magnesium, sodium, magnesium, then I have aluminium, silicon, phosphorus, sulfur, chlorine, argon. Okay. After argon, I have potassium, calcium. So let us work it out till here and then see. So lithium is 2, 1 in the K shell 2, L shell 1. Beryllium 2, 2. Boron 2, 3. Carbon 2, 4. Nitrogen 2, 5. Oxygen 2, 6. Fluorine 2, 7. Neon 2, 8. Okay. Now, what scientists observed is that neon is very stable. Yeah. Then sodium 2, 8, 1. Magnesium 2, 8, 2. 2, 8, 3. 2, 8, 4. 2, 8, 5. 2, 8, 6. 2, 8, 7. 2, 8, 8. 2, 8, 8, 1. 2, 8, 8, 2. Now they saw that argon is also highly stable. Okay, so these configurations of these elements which are highly stable are called the noble gases. They are all gases and they are highly stable. And they observed that if an element has 8 electrons, if an element has 8 electrons in outermost shell, if an element has 8 electrons in outermost shell, it is highly stable. And based on this, they came up with the octet rule. And according to the octet rule, every element, according to the octet rule, every element tends to have or wants to have 8 electrons in outermost shell. According to this, they came up with the octet rule. So according to the octet rule, please write down, according to, don't just be listening, okay, please write down. According to the octet rule, every element tends to have 8 electrons in the outermost shell. Okay, every element tends to have 8 electrons in outermost shell. No, there are no noble solids or liquids. Beryllium is not a noble gas. Beryllium is a very reactive element. Helium. Helium is a noble gas. Okay, so 2 electrons in first shell is okay. 2 electrons in beyond first shell doesn't make it stable. Okay, so here we will write down that one, every element tries to have 8 electrons in outermost shell. Except noble gases, as they already have an octet. Noble gases, as they already have an octet. Okay, so noble gases already have an octet. So every other element wants to attain noble noble gas configuration. Now, how will neon attain? No, neon is already. How will sodium attain noble gas configuration? Which is the nearest noble gas? Neon. So what will sodium do? Sodium will give away that 1 electron. So to give away, I will put red. What will magnesium do? Magnesium will give away 2 electrons. What will aluminium do? Aluminium will give away 3 electrons. Yeah. So if sodium, magnesium, aluminium, if sodium, magnesium, aluminium give away electrons, do you see that they will become positive? They will become positive because electrons are negative. So if you give away negative, do you see that they will become positive? Yeah, that is why these elements are called electropositive elements. That is why these elements are called electropositive elements. Electropositive elements give away 1 or more electrons so that they attain noble gas configuration. Sir, which noble gas is more reactive? No noble gas is reactive because they already have complete octet. Sir, which noble gas? I have answered you. What is this? Vijay sending the same question so many times. Send once, it is enough. Yes. So, except noble gas, as they already have an octet. So, noble gases are not reactive. Noble gases are not reactive. Yeah, noble gases are not reactive. Now, sodium is reactive. Now, sodium will have to give 1 electron. So, sodium will be reactive. Magnesium, after giving 1 electron, so magnesium will have to give 2 electrons. And definitely giving 2 is more difficult than giving 1. So sodium is more reactive than magnesium. Aluminium is magnesium is more reactive than aluminium because it has to give 3 electrons. So giving away 3 is more difficult than giving 2, is more difficult than giving 1. Okay, now let's look at these elements like fluorine. So fluorine has 7, so it won't give 7 to get noble gas configuration. It will take 1. It will take 1. Oxygen will take 2. Nitrogen will take 3. Yeah. So because these are taking electrons, so they are called electronegative elements. Those elements taking electrons to achieve stability are called electronegative elements. Those which give electrons are called electropositive elements. Metals are electropositive. Non-metals are electronegative. These guys want to give electrons. These guys want to take electrons. Sodium, lithium, beryllium, boron, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, all these are electropositive. So they are all metals. Oxygen, fluorine, sulfur, phosphorus, chlorine, bromine, nitrogen, all these take electrons. Because they take electrons, they are electronegative, so they are non-metals. Metals give electrons to attain noble gas configuration. Non-metals take electrons to give noble gas configuration. Based on atomic structure, the configuration, you can say whether a particular element is a metal or a non-metal. Whether a particular element is a metal or non-metal will depend upon whether it is taking or giving electrons. So here I have given you examples of metals. Here I have given you examples of non-metals. Yes. Chlorine is highly reactive. So here is slide number 6. Lithium will give 1 electron. If it gives 1 electron, it will have same structure like helium. So it will give. Beryllium will give 2. Boron will give 3. Nitrogen will take. Nitrogen has already 5, so it will take. So nitrogen will take. Oxygen will take. Okay. So boron will give. So boron will give. Carbon can also take, can also give. Mostly gives. Sorry, mostly takes. Mostly takes, but it can also give. Silicon mostly gives, but it can also take. Phosphorus takes. Sulfur takes. So phosphorus will take 3. Sulfur will take 2. Chlorine will take 1. Taking 1 is more easy than taking 2. So chlorine is more reactive than sulfur. So all those which I have marked in blue are non-metals. All those which I have marked in red are metals. silicon finds it more easy to take, to give than to take, but carbon finds it more easy to take than to give. So carbon mostly takes, silicon mostly gives. Okay. Then argon. Argon is noble gas configuration, neither gives nor takes. Then what can you say about potassium? Potassium will give, calcium will give. So all those that I have marked in red are electropositive and they are metals. All those that I have marked in blue are electronegative and they are non-metals. And they are non-metals. Certain elements have the tendency to give or take. Such elements are called metalloids. Okay, some elements have a tendency to give or to take. Such elements are called metalloids. Okay, sixth slide I showed you. Seventh slide is here. Every element tends to have 8 electrons in outermost shell, except noble gases, as they already have an octet. So noble gases are not reactive. Sodium, magnesium, aluminium, these are examples which give electrons. All those which give electrons are called electropositive elements. And examples of electropositive elements are these. Electropositive elements are metals. Metals are electropositive in nature. Electropositive means they give electrons to attain stability. So 6 I showed you, 7 I showed you, here is 8. Those elements taking electrons to achieve stability are called electronegative elements. So here are examples of a few electronegative elements. Electronegative elements are also referred to as non-metals. Electropositive elements are referred to as metals. So these are metals and these are non-metals. Okay, now those elements which have 4 electrons may give or take. Carbon mostly takes 4 electrons. Rarely gives. But instead of giving, they will share. They will share electrons. Okay, silicon mostly gives 4 electrons. But it is very difficult to give 4, so it will share. So it will share. Yeah, at the last I will show you. Okay, so silicon mostly gives, but it will share. So 1, elements are the building blocks of all compounds, of all substances. Yeah, they have a tendency. They have a tendency to combine with each other. they have a tendency to combine with each other. Why do they combine? They combine to have noble gas configuration, to have or attain noble gas configuration. They combine to have or attain noble gas configuration. Okay, how do they do this? They do so by giving or taking electrons from other elements, or they do so by giving, this is very important, or by sharing electrons. How do they attain their octet? They attain their octet by giving and taking electrons, or by sharing electrons. Electropositive elements do not share, they only give. Electropositive elements do not share, they only give. Yes, slide 9. Okay, I am in 10. Here is 9. Those elements which have 4 electrons may give or take. Carbon is a non-metal. It wants to take, but it also gives, but it does. But mostly it will share. Silicon mostly gives, but it can also share. In fact, this is more predominant than giving. This is more predominant than taking. Okay, so 9 is over. 10. They do so, elements combine with each other, and then they have a tendency to get noble gas configuration. How do they have a tendency? They do so by giving or taking electrons from other elements, or by sharing electrons. Electropositive elements do not share, only give. Electronegative elements or non-metals can take or share. So, for example, if you look at carbon, carbon needs 4, very difficult to give 4 or take 4. Oxygen needs 2, it already has 6. Oxygen has 8 electrons, K shell 2, L shell 6. So if oxygen gets 2 more, it is happy. So what happens is carbon will share 2 with oxygen and will share another 2 with another oxygen. So now if you look at oxygen, it has 8 electrons in outermost shell. So 2 are here. So this will become oxygen 8. This will become carbon 8. So this will become the other oxygen. So carbon will share 2 electrons with 2 different oxygens, so that it will attain stability. Hydrogen has 1 electron in outermost shell. Chlorine has 7 electrons in outermost shell. So what chlorine and hydrogen say is they will share 1 each. So hydrogen will also get helium configuration, chlorine will also get noble gas configuration. So this is the reason why compounds are formed. Here compounds are being formed by sharing of electrons. But otherwise, sodium has 1 electron in outermost shell. Chlorine has 7 electrons in outermost shell. So sodium says, okay, I will give you 1. Chlorine needs it. So now sodium has 281. Chlorine has 2887. So now 1 comes from here. This is sodium. So it becomes sodium plus. Sodium plus has an electronic configuration 28, and this becomes chlorine minus 2888. Okay, so now both of them have stable configuration. So now this plus and this minus, they attract. So they form NaCl. Now this is a compound. So every compound is formed either by give and take of electrons or by sharing of electrons. When non-metals react with each other, they share electrons. When a metal non-metal react, they do so by giving and taking electrons. Sir, is it not 287? I put an extra 8. Yeah, 287. Sorry, 287. 287. Chlorine is 17. Chlorine is 17. So 287. So it will get one more and it will become chlorine minus. Chlorine minus is 287. I put an extra 8. Be careful. Okay, so 11th slide is here. Excuse me. So compounds are formed by sharing of electrons. Non-metals react with each other by sharing electrons. Okay, so they are called covalent compounds. Then here metals react with non-metals. Metals react with non-metals by giving, or we can say by transfer of electrons. This is called electrovalent compound. So compounds are of two kinds: covalent compounds and electrovalent compounds. Elements are of three kinds. You have electronegative, you have electropositive, also called as metals, electronegative, also called as non-metals. Then you have the noble gases, and then you have the metalloids. They have both. They have both tendency to take or share or give. They behave both like metals and non-metals. Behave like metals and non-metals. They behave, noble gases, they behave both like metals and non-metals. Electronegative, electropositive. 12th slide. Sodium gives 1 to chlorine. So that chlorine gets noble gas configuration. Sodium also gets noble gas configuration. One is positive, one is negative. So there will be a attraction between them. Yeah, so slides once again I am showing. 9th slide is here. Tenth slide is here. 11th slide is here. Twelfth slide is here. 13th slide is here. They have both tendency to take or share or give. Third slide. Fourth slide. So the next chapter that we have to read is elements, compounds, and mixtures. So we have started that, and I have explained to you first what is an element. An element is a building block of all matter. There are so many elements. Each element is characterized by its atomic number. Okay. Then elements are electropositive, electronegative. They are neutral like the noble gases, and they can be metalloids. Seventh one. Eighth slide. Ninth slide. Tenth. These slides have been showing quite a few, so no more. Okay, thank you. Okay, so thank you. Okay, okay, fine. Okay, carry on. So we continue from here next time. Bye.